So we've made a bunch of videos about guitar rigs under 20k, under 30k, under 40k, and it started off with beginner guitars getting their first guitar, then gigging musicians, people who are looking to play professionally, and today we're going to discuss a few combos of electric guitars and their effects units. It's not necessarily about the price now, it's more about the best of what we have. So if you're a gigging musician, if you're a studio musician, you don't necessarily care for the price, but you need quality, you need consistency. It's about your career, it's about your reputation that's at stake. And you want something that feels good, that plays right, and is consistent across the board. So we have a few combos today. We're going to check out guitars and processors, and we have an amp as well. So first up, we have the SEST 1000 by SQOE, and we're going to pair that with the Arena 2000 by Donner. Now, you've probably seen the processor before, but the SEST 1000 is something that we featured on first time, for the simple reason that it's a top of the line Strat style guitar. It's got all the premium features, locking tuners, a glossy neck, a rosewood fretboard, 2-point tram system with brass saddles, a Nico 5 pickups, and this guitar plays really well. It sounds great. It's good for any musician looking to play professionally. So we're going to take a look at some of the sounds from the SEST 1000 running into the Arena 2000. We've got some patches set here, so let's go for the sound. Alright, so that was the SEST 1000 paired with the Arena 2000. Incredible sounds. It's a Strat style guitar with Alnico 5 pickups, as I mentioned. But Varun, just how does the guitar feel? Like without the processor, just the guitar by itself?
I think because I've played so many SQOEs till now, man. This has the best neck and the best overall construction is what I felt. Obviously, all the other SQOEs that we tried out were, in the more beginner, the entry range. But this is like a really pro quality SQOE guitar for proper, seriously gigging musicians, and because the neck construction, the feel, everything is top notch. The wood that they've chosen here, and the type of the frets, the finish, everything is just banger. Pickups also sound great. We do have a coil split on the bridge, so you get all these different tones happening. But even the true test is this. Even on the clean sound that you heard, it sounded amazing. Like the pickups and the setup is great. It's and it stays in tune really well. All these problems that we sort of somewhat faced in the earlier models often have all been fixed. So this is like your real deal. So if you do want to spend a good bunch of money and get a serious guitar, this is the one. Same thing, locking tuners, and I really have no complaints, man. This is what I wanted from SQOE. For all this while, they fixed it all.
Yeah, that's like I've been playing this guitar for a while now, and I also have been playing a Fender Modern Player series. And this is one guitar that the neck and everything feels really close. It feels like home. And there's certain things that I can play on this, like some funky stuff, especially when you're doing like the chicken picking and like those really intricate things. The neck feel actually matters, and for someone with my hands, it really works well for me. And now the Arena 2000, we've obviously done like a detailed video of that where we demonstrate the sound, so you can check that out. But again, this pairing where you have like a really good sounding guitar, you need a processor that complements that. Otherwise, it's just going to suck the tone out of it. So, how did you find the processor responding to the way the guitar plays?
It's the guitar, the core is right.
Yeah.
So even if it's the way you set up. We didn't go for too much over processing on the processor. Yeah. So we just set up a good clean Fender-ish amp, and then we set up some effects. And that's when I saw that I started to go on the neck pickup and different pickup settings, different volume settings, and we even had like some, the tone knob rolled off at certain points and all that. And that's the complete package. So the processor is bringing out what the guitar already has. And you can go into a mellow territory, into a more expressive territory, and then obviously put some gas on it, put a Marshall on, and go for the lead tones. But this guitar really, it's there. There's nothing stopping you here now. So you can just play. And it really helps if the processor, whatever you want to go for, the processor is just right there. Like, here is the tone. Here is the effect, no problem. More gain, less gain, slight compression, this and that, everything is just there. So that processor is giving that.
That's one thing about the Arena 2000 that we've observed like extensively. It's really easy to dial in sound. Like you just go and select, like we went and we want a clean style amp, and then we just immediately went to like a Marshall.
Yeah, the ease of access is really nicely done, and they've incrementally built it in where you go from a clean amp to slightly gain to that old school gain, eventually to a lot of gain, and they've programmed it very smartly. Same thing with the effects also. But the best part here in the Arena is everything just sounds good off the bat.
We didn't really
edit anything
to tweak anything.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and even their amp modelers, like they have the different channels, like channel A, channel B and stuff. So they've even modeled that. And what I love, like there are so many features. I'll go over it a little bit. So one thing is you can send a separate out to the front of house, and if you want stage volume, like you want an amp on stage just to get that, you can actually control them independently. And if you want to bypass the cab for your stage cab, you can do that as well. It's got OTG function, so you can use it as a sound interface. It's got the looper, and obviously, and one thing that's really cool is the size of this. It can fit into your gig bag.
Yeah.
And that's something that's very important for someone if you're traveling in like rickshaws.
And even editing patches on the fly, because it's all touch screen.
It's all touch surface,
So that's great.
So that's one thing I really love. What Donna has done with this, they've taken everything, and also it's got a metric chassis, so it's not like weak. Don't drop your processor down, but on stage when you're wearing like woodland shoes and kind of stomping on these things.
No, it'll take a beating, man. It's a very high grade quality steel. This will survive a lot of falls. Not that it's meant for that. Yeah.
so that's the Arena 2000 and the SCST 1000. Now, if you had to talk about the price of it, how much do you think would be at?
I mean, I'll not talk about this guitar. I'll tell you the feel and the way it's playing and the way the sound is there. This will, if not beat, at least give a very healthy competition to like a Mexican Strat, or even actually some even US Strats. It's the fretwork and the feel is so nice that you really get on those ultra Strats or the modern Strats, or even like the neck is also, it's not too thick also, it's not too slim, so it could go into the entry level pro category, which is like I don't know, you probably get those guitars at like 60,000-70,000 just entering in. Yeah. So was I off or was I correct?
You were off a little bit. This is around 47,000.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like that's the price, because the material and the craftsmanship that has gone in. I mean, anyone who's played this will really understand what's going on.
Yeah, because I have a modern player Strat that I got like 10 years ago, and that was about 45,000. That does not come with locking tuners. No, it's got ceramic pickups.
Yeah, but that Strat now will be like 1.2 lakh.
Yeah, and it still does not have some of the features that this one has. So again, it's about paying for.
No, I mean, whoever's seeing this, you all need to get your hands on one of these.
Yeah, for sure.
And play it and just be blown away. This is like probably one of the best offerings that SQOE has given us till now.
So now we're doing these combos, and something we've been doing is rating them on a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah. So what would you rate it at?
Processor by itself, is there scope for improvement? I would probably get through a lot of kick-ass shows with that processor, and even if there is a slightly more affordable guitar. Now you've given me this guitar and this processor. This will pretty much get me through everything.
Yeah.
So what improvement scope is there? Maybe the feel of the amp modelers can get better, but it's pretty good as it is.
Yeah.
So it's not a real complaint as such. We have only 2 ways or 3 ways to switch on this processor.
Yeah, that's what I was
maybe
going to say. Maybe more
switchability
options
can get better. Guitar, I think, just if I had to rate each of them separately, let's do that. Okay, so guitar would definitely be a serious 8.59 out of 10. Why did I not give that another 1 mark? I don't know. I could actually give it right now a 10 on 10, but I have to play it more and find out its flaws.
Yeah.
Where
there's always scope for
lacking
here and there. So.
Right. So that's there. So 9 out of 10 for me on the guitar for sure. Processor, I would give probably an 8, because if you can switch a few more things, it'll be better. A few more things, the more we use it, we'll find out. But again, this is a setup that could get you through 80 to 90% of your serious touring touring level.
And there's a lot of musicians these days that do, you have different types of gigs. You have your indie gigs at clubs, but you also have corporate events, you have private events, and you need something that's convenient. And with this, again, with processors, that consistency of sound across different places, there's the problem we used to have with analog gear is every venue you went, it sounded different. With this, it's a little more consistent. And for someone who wants something super reliable and just there right off the bat, you're sorted with the Arena 2000 and the SCST 1000. So that was an interesting combination. Yeah, I would give it an overall rating of like 8.5. Simple reason that sometimes you want a little more flexibility in terms of switching. And one, I don't know if it's a drawback or something I should complain about, but if you're operating these foot switches without shoes and your toe hits on one of these, you might end up turning off the effect. That's one practical use case.
The touch screen is too close to that.
It's a little too close. And again, this is just, we're looking for things to like improve on, and that's just one thing that I noticed. But overall, I really loved what this has to offer. It's so much more than what I would have paid for on some of the processors I used to get. So the next combination we have is the N400 by Hex, which is a headless style guitar. And we pair that with the Joyo Gembox K8. And we've probably not talked about this too much on the channel, But the reason being, this is one of the most expensive processors that we have, and it's super robust in terms of not just construction but the features that it has on. When you talk about processors, there's a lot of components to it. You have the amp modelers, the cab modelers, EQ, overdrive, effects, everything. And within those, you have a lot of options. And with each price range, you get more and more options. And at this point, the K8 is endless. You can get different types of cabs, different types of speakers. You can change the mic model on that. You can change certain parameters on the mic models, as well as the different types of EQ. And you're getting closer and closer to sound that you can really tailor to your perfection. Not just that, if you look at the interface, the I/O, what we call input output, that's also got a ton of options. You can now add expression pedals, you've got an effects loop, you've got MIDI control, OTG function, of course, and you can add external pedals and compile them while moving around the sound blocks. So a lot happening over here. And of course, the N400 by Hex is a headless guitar. We've spoken about why headless guitars these days are becoming more and more popular. It's not just convenience, it's also about travel. It used to be associated with a specific genre of music, headless guitars with like metal and stuff, because of the unconventional form factor. But these days you can get any kind of sound from a headless guitar, and we'll explore that with this combination and see the kind of sounds that we can look at. So let's take a listen. Wow, that was some cool sounds. We've been playing around with the N400 and the Joyo Gembox K8. And honestly, there's so much more to explore. We were just peeking around the different settings, looking at different amp models, and we went to the drop-down list, and there's so much more. So again, we'll start off with just the guitar. You've played this before. Yeah. And how do you feel about this guitar? Now we're thinking from the perspective of like gigging musicians, not really price limited, but now you're looking at convenience and consistency and things like that.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it's people think that this is really meant for the heavy metal and that progressive rock sort of that genre, but I got a funky sound out of it. You can get all these different sort of sounds out of it. So it is actually a versatile guitar, and it's very compact. So you can just carry it with you in your flight case. You don't need an extra case to check in and all that. Okay, so it's very convenient. You can take this anywhere. You've got a recording session, you're going to your friend's house, whatever. You can it's so easy to carry. And so that's one of the things. Pickups sound fine. The bridge pickup sounds like really, it's got that full, really that modern-ish sound. But also, surprisingly enough, that does work with all the other things that we were playing. Yeah. Okay, even the combination pickups sounds great. But the best thing is overall construction-wise, the neck doesn't feel like you're playing this tiny guitar. So it does feel like you're playing a regular, how you would play like a Les Paul or a Strat or any one of those things. And the frets are taller but narrower. So that really helps with the fast playing bit on it. So this is in the zone of like, a more shred-friendly sort of a guitar, but which can also get you to play the other genres that you need to cover in your gigs.
So it's like one guitar does it all if you had to get one of these.
Yeah, I mean, probably I would just get, maybe that's just for my preference, I would maybe get a single coil on the neck.
Fair.
And then it will really cover all your, even for all the Bollywood zone or the pop zone, things like that. even this pickup as by itself is not bad at all. Sounds still sounds good. We are at a fixed bridge.
Yes.
So we don't have a whammy here.
Yeah, just to tell you guys that the N600 and the there's a whole series of these guitars that come with floating bridge. The N400 doesn't, and honestly, a lot of guitar players don't want the floating bridge because
it's a lot of headache. You have to deal with tuning issues.
Yeah, and this was on Drop D. We were able to do that because it's a fixed bridge with floating bridges, and that's down to personal preference also. Like a lot of guitar players get, like I got a Floyd Rose back in the day just because it was cool and everything, and then I struggled so much. So
I did that as well, and I had to like study how it works properly and become a technician basically.
Yeah, you have to study physics and engineering and everything, and then you figure out that you're not really using it. So great system. If you do want a floating bridge, of course you have the N500 with the Alchemy bridge, super stable. And construction of the guitar, again, Hex has always been great with their quality. And
yeah, the fretwork is solid, the finish and everything. You got this beautiful, maple at the back. But the best part is how they have finished this.
Yeah.
So the main thing is the look factor of this. Okay, it's not your regular Strat or a Les Paul or a Tele. It's this modern looking,
it's unique.
And that's the thing when people are gigging and it's like everyone else looks at this guitar and like, okay, who have we hired tonight to play?
Yeah.
Which is this band with all these sort of instruments? So that the look factor is for sure a prime factor for this one.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything, I think.
Yeah.
And then we've got our K8, the Joyo Gembox K8, which has so many features. It's a very modern processor. It's got obviously the touchscreen happening there. Super easy to control once you understand how it works. While you were playing, I was actually fiddling around with the controls. So super easy. In the previous combination, we were talking about the limited number of foot switches. This solves that issue because you have your 4 patches. You can move up the banks using these 2 switches. And it also gives you 2 custom switches that you can assign. So if you want to turn a specific effect on or off for a patch, you have 2 switches. The way I've set it up is I've set one up to just be a tuner. So I can... You can also press and hold down these for tuner. That's just one option. And again, with the input-output, as I mentioned, you have effects, loops and things happening. So there's so much more. Expression pedal can be set to either pre-effects or pre-processing or post-processing.
You can move it around.
You can move it around. Right. And you can also have an external effects pedal. That's how I use it. I use actually an external one for post. And I use that to, you can change parameters and stuff. So there's a lot happening on here. Something that would cost you a fortune if you had to go for like something like the big brands. But you're getting these features, great sounds.
No, and the patches feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Like even the clean sound was responding very well with the volume knob and everything. The main thing with this processor is this is more tailored towards gigging side of things, because when you have so many patches, so you got 4 patches, 2 custom switches and a way to up down the bank. So you basically have infinite patches at your recall, right? So that's there. So because when you play all these pop gigs and even Bollywood gigs for that matter, and later on obviously your rock gigs and metal gigs, the demand is such that especially for commercial styles of music, bolly and pop and all that, you have to change from the verse to the chorus to a different effect to a solo back to the patch you started with and things like that. So the demand to switch is quite high.
Yeah, that's how
which we could not do in the last processor.
We could not do that. Yeah.
So if I would probably get this sort of a processor because my demand is quite high to switch the patches.
Yeah. So I actually use this processor for my live gigs, and the patches that we are using, you can see it says Hope Solo, which is a song Hope That Shines. That's my rhythm patch. Right. That's like an interlude patch.
Yeah, see, so
and then I've got the clean.
You've got the demand to change that many patches.
I can do this on this processor. Previously I used to use a Digitech RP500. Great sounding processor for what it did at the time. This was when I was in college, and it had its limitations, like the number of amps and the way it responded. Also, the converters, the A to D, like when you roll off the volume and stuff, that becomes a bit of a problem as you advance in your career. And this really solves a lot of those problems. Plus, it's easy to carry around, super convenient.
No, because I get it where Joyo is trying to place this. Back like 10, 12 years ago, we had the heroes of all the processors was the Line 6 pod and the whole pod series, what we had, which is eventually it's been discontinued now. We don't get those. There's a great second-hand market for it. But the whole reason why they were not the most amazing, best patches in the world, but it was the switchability that it offered and all the effects that it offered. So gigging musicians, although they might not be the biggest fan of their clean amps or even their intermediate, that early rock, like the Marshall type amps, they had great metal amps. So even if we were not the biggest fans of the feel and the sounds, we still had to use that because that was the processor allowing us to switch and get through the show. Right? So this is where this processor is kind of doing that, but now this is where all the patches are working really well. You've got touchscreen, you can change things on the fly. Can you connect this to a PC and change up all the patches and all that, obviously? So this is the new and improved version of, those Line 6 days when we had them. And now obviously if you had to get something similar to that, you probably have to spend double to triple the money.
Easily,
If anything, you get anything like the Helix or anything. And anything beyond that is the XFX territory. That's 2 to 2.5, 1.5 to 2.5 lakh, around that zone. So this, in being lesser than half of that price, is offering the patches feel really well, like they feel amazing and organic and everything. Effects are all there, switchability is all there. So
great sounding guitar, great sounding processor with a ton of features. How would you rate this?
Guitar, I would rate. I have to play this a little more, man. So I would probably rate this one 8 on 10. Construction is great. Everything is just, I love my Strats so much that I'm not this kind of a guy. I have to play this more, and I can probably become better. So, but the guitar by itself is pretty good, man. So I dig it. But again, there's more room for improvement. Like I would need a single coil, and how would you put this thing on a strap? So you've got one button here and
right here.
Oh, there you go.
Sorted.
Yeah.
And again,
so 8 to 8.5 out of 10 is my rating on this one. Processor, I think this is the best processor we have in our product line so far.
So far, yeah.
So this does get Series 9 9.5, man, because there's only so little room left, and I know if I do try to cover that little room for improvement, that's where you shell out 1.5 to 2 to 2.5
easily.
That's where you shell out the big bucks.
Yeah, so I would also give it, now I've actually used this combination on stage, the N400 with the processor, and it works fabulously well. So I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. Again, that one is just little things here and there, room for improvements. Maybe
You also want a Strat neck pickup, right?
I want a pickup that I can switch between a single. So like a coil.
So it's not room for improvement. It's more like a wish list.
Yeah, now we're going to wishlist territory.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, having said that, actually using this combination on stage, even I'm a Strat player, but you get used to this. Like eventually you start.
Yeah, you just start playing it and you'll be fine.
Yeah. So all the traditional, what do you say, orthodox guitar players give this a chance. We've also done a separate series on headless guitars where we explored this in detail. So
Where we played all the Strat songs on the headless guitars.
yeah, we played Jeff Beck on a headless. So you should check that out. And now we'll go to our next combination, which is very interesting. Alright, so the next combination we've gone old school now. We've taken, this is the SEST 1100 by SQOE. It's the paisley finish. And we're going into an all tube amp. This is a clean amp by Joyo. It's called the JT05 or the Sweet Baby. All tube construction, really simple. It's just got one volume knob, two inputs, and that's it. There's no onboard EQ, there's no effect, there's no reverb. Straight up dry signal. And this is what initially electric guitar players would use. They would just have their guitar and an amp, no pedals, nothing. And different amps evolved over time to get you the driven sounds. Today we've gone with a clean all tube style amp with a Strat style guitar. And now we're going to hear what that sounds like. What's interesting about this is because it's a clean amp, there's no drive. So we've actually added a pedal, which we'll talk about a little later. But let's hear what it sounds like. Alright, so that was our SEST 1100 with the Joyo Sweet Baby. Again, this is the paisley finish, which is one of like the top of the line Strat style guitars by SQOE. So how does this feel now compared to like the SEST 1000 that you played earlier?
They're pretty similar. I think it's probably the same neck.
I think so. It is,
Yeah, it's the same neck, the same frets, the same, the rosewood fingerboard and everything. Pickups are also, I think this one is slightly more chimier. That's probably because we're plugged into a tube amp, so I'm hearing it a little bit more. But despite of that, it's pretty much the same construction. You got single and a humbucker with a coil tap on the bridge and a very nicely put together bridge over here. And we've got the locking tuners, so it's more or less the same guitar is what I felt, but with this beautiful, with the whole finish that's going on here. And actually that finish even goes at the back. It's actually a very good looking finish at the back as well. So I think playability wise it's the same as the last SQOE that we played. It's all spot on, and I really love this particular neck that they're giving on this line of the models. And yeah, man, nothing to complain. It feels like a good old proper Strat, and plays like one as well, and sounds like one.
Sound like.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think the 1000 series, there are a bunch. There's the 1000, there's the 1100, there's the 1009 that you've played earlier. They're more or less that premium range with slightly different. Some of them are like the Strat style guitars. I think the neck and everything's the same. It's about the finish now.
Yeah.
Again, the visual aspect of it. SQOE is also one of the brands that does these interesting colors. Now coming to the amp, this is what used to be the style of amp that used to be used. We were dealing with processors earlier, which is a more modern way of gigging. But if you're playing a small club gig in your local pub or whatever, and you don't have a huge PA system, just take this with you. And if you have a couple of pedals, add that. So how did you find the amp when you played it just direct?
Just direct, it feels like an old Tweed or like a smaller, like a deluxe reverb or anything like that. But it's a great pedal platform.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. You could actually take it to 12 and get some gain out of it, which is that classic, that old Tweedy, old school gain. And it has two inputs. One is the lesser bright channel and one is the bright channel. So you've got that. It's a no nonsense thing. Where the EQ sits normally is perfect because it forces you to EQ the guitar.
Yeah.
Right. So that's your EQ now. So that's one thing. And it's a great pedal platform. So I would probably you can put a couple of overdrives, which we tried with this other Joyo pedal over here. And the speaker sounds good. So you could mic this up and power up the whole venue. So mic it up, get the sound going through the PA and use the pedal. So this is perfect because now the Tweed, if you actually go and buy a real Tweed, it would be 3 times the price of this amp.
Yeah, probably.
So I'm kind of very happy that Joyo is kind of thinking about that old school, the old school way of guitar playing even now and delivering a pedal platform tube amp just in this size.
This setup?
I think my first real complaint about the amp is I wish it had a reverb. An inbuilt reverb. Then it would be really a Tweed, right?
Yeah, like the spring reverb units that used to
just a spring reverb unit, it's not a biggie. We can just get a pedal and use that instead. So, but if it had that inbuilt, it's that, this amp at just 12 o'clock, half the volume, basically is the most perfect, that not gained up, bluesy. So my only real complaint was I wish it had a reverb channel as well. So that's one. You can always get a reverb pedal going, but this amp at like 6 o'clock, at the setting of 6, just in the center, it's that perfect, clean, shimmery, that singer-songwriter or early blues sort of a tone. Which it puts you into that whole Jeff Buckley, mode where you're just trying to express with simple playing. You're not playing a whole lot too much. Also, this would be a very good amp for all the jazzers who have their hollow body guitars or even they're playing regular guitars, which they don't need gain.
No.
They probably use a compression pedal, maybe a reverb delay, maybe an effect pedal. This is the amp for them.
Yeah.
So for fusion-y players, for jazz players who also once in a while delve into rock and things like that, for them, and just for singer-songwriters to just have one amp, plug in, good to go.
Yeah.
But you'll miss the reverb in this one. So I would give this amp I would have given it a 9 on 10 because it sounds great. It's a proper tube amp. But I wish it had that reverb. So that'll probably sum it up to an 8. Okay. Guitar is already a 9 on 10. I love it. This is a great finish. And even the 1000 series by SQOE is just banger. The neck is the is the highlight for me.
Yep.
And but the overall package, what they put to, match. But the overall package, what they've put together in the price range of this 40 to 50,000 bucks, this will rival the guitars which are like almost double up its
the price.
price.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm not kidding. Let's like really get into that zone.
Yeah, I would give it the overall setup an 8 on 10. Of course, the guitar is great. We've talked about it. And the amp also does what it's supposed to do really well. Again, my complaint is there's not too many controls there. So if you are going direct into the amp instead of using pedals, you're kind of you can control it with your volume tone and your tone knob. So that kind of gives you a limited amount of sounds that you can get. But then once you start adding pedals, that makes it even better. So just the guitar with the amp, I'd say an 8 on 10. And then if you add in like an overdrive or a reverb pedal, then that's a solid 9 on 10. Simple setup, take it with you. All right, so that was our discussion about guitar rigs that are for professional players, live and studio. Budget constraints were about 80,000, within like 60 to 80,000. But the priority was now getting the best of both worlds, the guitar and your processor. And we tried different combinations. We took a really high-end guitar like the 1000 series and paired that with the Arena 2000, which is about half the price. And then we did it the other way around with the processor, which is slightly more expensive. And we went old school with our amplifier, just guitar plugged into an amp with a pedal. And these are the three different kind of combinations that would work for different musicians based on your requirements. The idea is to get people aware of what's there and how do we use these sounds. I use the K8 for my prog rock band because I need a consistent sound everywhere I go. However, when I play with my other bands, which is more like classic rock and blues, I tend to go with a pedal board because there's a little more flexibility in terms of sounds and I can edit sounds and change things on the fly with adjusting my guitar. And then, of course, there is the Arena 2000, which is convenient to carry. So many different aspects to offer. These were just a few things that we touched upon. Do let us know in the comments what was your favorite. If you are a gigging musician or a studio professional, what kind of gear do you use? And if you had to pick one of these three combos, which it would be and why? And you can also rate these rigs based on your understanding of how the rigs work. So this was our discussion about electric guitar rigs. Do let us know if there's anything else you want us to talk about. And till then, we'll see you on the next one.